The galaxy had seen war many times before, but this war felt different. Entire star systems were burning. Space stations that once shined like jewels were now silent wrecks drifting through the dark. Millions of lives were lost in days. A powerful alien empire moved from world to world, crushing every defense with ease. In the middle of this chaos, a desperate decision was made. A distress call was sent. It was not a normal message. It carried fear, pain, and hope all mixed together. The signal traveled across thousands of systems, repeating the same simple words again and again: "We are under attack. We need help." At first, many heard it. Then many ignored it. Some civilizations said the war was already lost. Others feared the attacking empire too much to respond. A few laughed and said it was not their problem. The galaxy was old and tired. No one wanted another war. The distress call reached the Galactic Council, a massive gathering of the most powerful species. The leaders watched the live images: burning cities, broken fleets, civilians running in terror. For a brief moment, the room was silent. Then excuses began. "We cannot risk our fleets," one leader said. "This conflict does not threaten us," said another. "They were weak anyway," a third added coldly. One name was mentioned, and the room changed instantly. Humans. Some called them a myth. Others said they were extinct. A few remembered them and went quiet. Humans were known as dangerous, emotional, and uncontrollable. Long ago, humanity had pulled back from the galaxy after a terrible war. No one had seen them since. The Council quickly dismissed the idea. "Do not contact Earth," the Council leader ordered. "Humans are unstable. If they return, the galaxy may suffer even more." The distress call continued to spread, unanswered. World after world fell. Fleets were destroyed in minutes. The attacking empire sent a clear message to the galaxy: resistance was useless. And still, the signal traveled on. Far beyond known space, past borders marked as forbidden, the call reached a silent system. There were no trade ships. No colonies. No visible life. Only darkness and old machines hidden deep in space. For centuries, they had watched. For centuries, they had waited. A small object drifting near a dead moon suddenly powered on. Lights appeared where none had been before. Antennas unfolded slowly, like something waking from a long sleep. The distress signal played once. Then twice. Then it was confirmed. Deep beneath layers of metal and stone, ancient systems came online. Data flowed through networks untouched for generations. Somewhere, in a place no alien had ever seen, a human-made intelligence processed the message. It did not feel fear. It did not hesitate. It followed a rule written long ago. Never ignore a call for help. Across the system, massive structures began to move. What looked like asteroids shifted position. Shadows changed. Space itself seemed to breathe. On a distant blue planet, alarms echoed through vast underground chambers. Human commanders were awakened from their duties. Screens lit up with images of burning worlds and dying civilians. No one spoke at first. Then a calm voice broke the silence. "The distress call is real," the AI said. "Multiple civilizations are under extermination." A human admiral looked at the stars, his expression hard and focused. "They reached us," he said quietly. Outside the planet, something enormous stirred in the dark. The galaxy believed the call had gone unanswered. It was wrong. Earth did not rush to war. That alone surprised those who knew humanity's past. The alarms echoed through deep halls carved under mountains and oceans, but the response was calm and controlled. Screens showed the same images everywhere: burning skies, shattered fleets, and terrified civilians calling for help. The room was quiet as human leaders watched in silence. The message had crossed the galaxy, ignored by many. But on Earth, it had been received with full clarity. Humanity had changed since its last appearance among the stars. Long ago, humans were loud, angry, and reckless. That version of them had nearly destroyed everything they loved. So they learned. They rebuilt. They became patient. Now, when the galaxy was burning, they listened. A woman in a dark uniform stood at the center of the command chamber. She was not young, and her face carried the weight of long years. Her eyes moved across the data without panic. "Confirm the source," she said. The artificial intelligence replied instantly. "Confirmed. Multiple systems under attack. Civilian targets prioritized. Probability of total extinction, high." A low anger spread through the room. Not loud. Not explosive. Human anger had become quiet. "Who is responsible?" another commander asked. "The Car Dominion," the AI answered. "Expansion-based empire. Known for complete extermination." Some officers exchanged looks. The name meant little to Earth. That did not matter. "What does the Galactic Council say?" the woman asked. The AI paused. No official response. "The call has been classified as unresolvable." Earth was not contacted directly. That was when the mood changed. Not fear. Not doubt. Disappointment. "They heard the call," a man said. "And chose silence." The woman nodded slowly. "Then it's on us." Humanity had one rule that had survived every war, every mistake, every retreat into isolation. It was simple, and it was absolute. If someone asks for help, you answer. Not because it is easy. Not because it is safe. Because it is right. "Activate fleet protocol," the woman ordered. Across the planet, hidden docks came alive. Beneath deserts, oceans, and ice, massive doors opened. Ships that had not moved in decades powered up. Lights ran along dark hulls like veins filling with fire. These were not ships built for display. No bright colors. No symbols meant to impress. They were built to endure. To protect. To end wars quickly. Sensors across nearby space detected movement. Alien listening posts blinked in confusion. Readings did not match any known designs. The humans did not announce themselves. They prepared. Crews moved with discipline and purpose. No cheers. No speeches. Every person knew their role. Every ship knew its target. A younger officer hesitated before speaking. "If we intervene, the galaxy will notice us again." The woman met his eyes. "Good," she said. "They should." The final data from the distress call finished loading. It showed children hiding in shelters. Cities collapsing. A planet's atmosphere burning away as enemy ships hovered above it. The room went silent. Then the woman gave the order the galaxy would remember. "Deploy the war fleet." Space bent as the first wave of human ships entered faster than light travel. Not one. Not 10. Hundreds. Then thousands. From the outside, it looked like stars were falling inward toward a single point. In the Car Dominion's war zone, alien commanders laughed as another defense line fell. Victory was close. Total domination was certain. Until their sensors screamed. Space cracked open. Something enormous was coming. Humanity had received the message. And they were on their way. The Car Dominion had never known fear. Their fleets ruled entire regions of space. Their ships were fast, numerous, and brutal. Wherever they arrived, resistance collapsed within hours. Now, above a wounded planet, their commanders watched the final defenses fall. Fires burned across the surface. Cities that once glowed were now dark scars. Victory was moments away. Then the sensors began to fail. At first, it was only static. Small errors that officers blamed on damaged equipment. Space in front of the fleet shimmered, as if heat was bending reality itself. The car commander narrowed his eyes. "Report," he demanded. Before the officer could answer, space tore open. Not exploded. Not shattered. It opened. A massive shape emerged from the tier, black and silent. Then another. And another. Within seconds, the darkness was filled with impossible shadows. Ships larger than anything the car had ever built slid into real space without sound or light. The laughter stopped. "These are not council fleets," one officer whispered. The human war fleet arrived in perfect formation. No wasted movement. No confusion. Hundreds of warships formed lines that blocked the stars behind them. Their hulls were dark, marked only by faint white lights and simple symbols. The car fleet outnumbered them. That fact brought no comfort. Human ships did not fire. They did not chase. They simply held position, like a wall placed between the attackers and the helpless world below. A signal was sent from the car flagship. "Unknown vessels," the commander said sharply. "This is Dominion-controlled space. Identify yourselves or be destroyed." For a moment, there was only silence. Then a single human ship moved forward. A calm voice filled every car channel, translated perfectly into their language. "This system is under protection." The car commander sneered. "You are alone and outmatched. Leave now." The reply came without emotion. "You attack civilians," the voice said. "This ends here." The first human weapon fired. There was no bright flash. No dramatic explosion. One car battleship simply vanished. Gone in a blink, cut cleanly through as if space itself had erased it. Shock rippled through the car fleet. "Return fire," the commander shouted. Thousands of weapons activated at once. Energy beams and missiles raced toward the human line. For the first time, the humans moved. Human ships shifted smoothly, almost gently. Invisible shields flared, absorbing attacks that should have torn worlds apart. Not a single human vessel broke formation. Then the humans answered. Their response was precise. Focused. Ruthless. Entire squadrons of car ships were disabled in seconds. Engines died. Weapons systems shut down. Some ships exploded, others drifted powerless into space. The humans targeted command vessels first, cutting coordination apart with terrifying speed. The car commander watched his fleet fall into chaos. "These tactics, they're reading us," he whispered. They were. Human sensors tracked every movement, every energy spike. Human weapons struck only where needed. No wasted shots. No cruelty. Just overwhelming force applied with cold control. On the planet below, surviving defenders looked up in disbelief as the skies changed. Enemy ships fell like burning rain. For the first time since the invasion began, hope returned. The Galactic Council watched in horror. Their screens filled with images of the battle. They recognized those ships now. Designs from old records. Legends they had tried to forget. Humans, one council member breathed. The war was no longer contained. Across the galaxy, alarms sounded as news spread. Humanity had returned. And they were not asking permission. Back in the battlefield, the Car Dominion made a desperate choice. "Send the signal," the commander ordered. "Call the main armada." If humanity wanted war, the Dominion would drown them in numbers. As the signal launched into deep space, the human commander watched calmly. "They're calling reinforcements," an officer reported. The admiral nodded. "Good." Behind him, more human ships arrived from hyperspace, their numbers growing by the second. "Let the galaxy see," he said quietly. The signal from the Car Dominion raced across space, faster than fear, faster than regret. It reached deep into their territory, calling every available warship to the battlefield. The message was clear and desperate. We are under attack. Unknown enemy. Extreme threat. For the first time in their long history, the car asked for help. Their main armada answered. From distant systems, their greatest fleets began to arrive. Millions of ships, built for conquest, poured toward the wounded system. The car believed numbers would solve everything. They always had before. The galaxy watched, holding its breath. Many believed this was the moment humanity would fall. Even those who feared humans whispered that no force could stand against such overwhelming power. On the human flagship, the atmosphere remained calm. Screens showed the incoming armada. Endless icons filled the display, layer after layer of enemy ships. A younger officer swallowed hard. That's their full strength, he said. If they reach firing range. They won't, the admiral replied. Human ships adjusted position. New vessels arrived silently, forming deeper lines behind the first fleet. Some ships moved ahead of the civilians' planet, creating a solid shield between the world and the coming storm. The car armada arrived like a flood. Space became crowded with metal and weapons. Their commanders felt confidence return as they saw their numbers. The human fleet looked small by comparison. The car admiral sent one final message, filled with pride. You should have stayed hidden, humans. The human reply came instantly. We stayed hidden to protect the galaxy, the admiral said. You gave us a reason to return. Then humanity unleashed its true power. Human ships changed formation. Massive structures unfolded along their hulls. Weapons the galaxy had never recorded activated. Space itself reacted, warping under forces it was never meant to hold. The first wave hit the car armada. Entire lines of ships vanished at once. Not exploded, removed. Space folded inward, crushing fleets like paper. Energy storms ripped through enemy ranks, disabling thousands of vessels without touching the planet below. The car fired back in panic. It did nothing. Human defenses adapted in real time. Shields shifted, learned, and hardened. Attacks that should have shattered stars faded harmlessly against human lines. The humans advanced. They did not rush. They moved with purpose, carving paths through the armada. Command ships were destroyed first. Communication arrays vanished next. The car fleets lost coordination, then hope. On the surface of the planet, survivors watched the sky in awe. They saw enemy ships fall like dying stars, while a silent wall of dark vessels stood guard above them. The Galactic Council could no longer speak. Their records confirmed the truth they had denied. Humans had not retreated because they were weak. They had retreated because they were dangerous. The car admiral realized it too late. These weapons, these tactics, he whispered. They're holding back. His officer turned to him in terror. Holding back. Before the admiral could answer, a new signal appeared. It came from Earth. The message was broadcast on every channel, in every known language. This is humanity, the voice said. Cease all hostile actions immediately. Withdraw your forces. This is your only warning. The car tried to flee. Human ships closed the distance. What followed was not a battle. It was a conclusion. Within minutes, the car armada was shattered. Survivors fled into deep space, abandoning their conquest entirely. The empire that had terrified the galaxy was broken in a single engagement. Human ships stopped advancing. Weapons powered down. The battlefield fell silent. The planet below was safe. The galaxy realized something that would never be forgotten. Humanity had not come to conquer. They had come to end the war. Silence spread across the battlefield. Where millions of ships had once filled the stars, only broken wrecks and drifting debris remained. The Car Dominion's great armada was gone. Some ships fled into deep space, their engines burning in blind panic. Others floated powerless, weapons destroyed, crews alive but defeated. Above the saved planet, the human war fleet held its position. They did not chase the fleeing enemy. They did not celebrate. They simply stayed, like guardians standing watch. On the planet below, people slowly came out of shelters. They looked up at the dark shapes in the sky, unsure whether to feel fear or relief. For days, they had believed extinction was certain. Now the air was quiet. The fires were fading. The enemy was gone. Hope returned. Human ships began their next phase. Medical vessels descended first. Not warships, but clean white ships marked with simple symbols of aid. Supplies followed. Food. Water. Atmosphere stabilizers. Machines repaired cities instead of destroying them. The survivors watched in disbelief. These beings had arrived with overwhelming power, yet they used it to protect, not rule. Across the galaxy, the news spread faster than any fleet. The Galactic Council reconvened in emergency session. The same leaders who had ignored the distress call now stared at their screens in silence. Images showed human ships rebuilding worlds, not claiming them. One council member finally spoke, his voice shaking. "We were wrong." No one argued. They remembered old stories now. Stories they had buried. Stories of humans ending wars quickly, of humans who fought fiercely but never attacked the weak. They had chosen to forget those stories because they were afraid. Afraid of humanity's strength. Afraid of humanity's choice. A message was sent to Earth. It was formal. Careful. Filled with apologies and praise. The human reply was short. "We did not come for recognition." That was all. On the human flagship, the admiral stood before a window, watching the planet below recover. His officers waited, uncertain. "The galaxy fears us," one said quietly. The admiral nodded. "They always have." "Will we stay?" another asked. The admiral shook his head. "No. We never do." Humanity had learned long ago that power was not meant to rule others forever. It was meant to be used when needed, then set aside. Orders were given. As repairs were completed and the planet stabilized, human ships began to leave. One by one, they vanished into hyperspace, slipping back into the dark between stars. Before the last ship departed, a final message was sent across all channels. It was not a threat. It was not a demand. It was a reminder. "If you hear a distress call," the message said, "answer it. Silence destroys more worlds than war ever will." Then the humans were gone. The galaxy was changed forever. New laws were written. Distress calls could no longer be ignored. Councils were required to respond. Empires that targeted civilians were watched closely. Some disarmed. Others retreated into isolation, afraid of drawing human attention again. Children across many worlds grew up hearing the same story. The day the galaxy cried out. The day no one answered. And the day humanity did. They spoke of humans not as monsters, not as myths, but as something more dangerous and more comforting at the same time. Protectors. Somewhere, far beyond known space, Earth returned to silence. Its fleets went back to hiding. Its people went on with their lives. But the galaxy knew the truth now. Humanity was watching. And if the galaxy ever cried for help again, they would answer.